What is up, COD Mobile fans? We are back, and actually, as we're recording this, we're also live on Twitch, doing full breakdown of the Snapdragon Pro Series Mobile Masters Grand Finals. We've got GALORYS versus Q9. Should be a saucy one. I didn't get a chance to watch this game live, so we will be kind of doing a more of a reaction style based breakdown here, and then breaking down the plays that we kind of see, but we will be doing quite a bit of just reacting to the series since I didn't actually catch it. So starting things off, we're jumping into map number 1, Takeoff, Hardpoint, and based on what I'm seeing in the scoreboard, it was a close one, so should be fun. Let's pull the gameplay up and let's get this party started. We've got Ton and Infinity in the broadcast. I hate these. Kidding, I don't.
A different level than where we started, and
appropriately blocking off Infinity's forehead. We love that. It's already a good start to the broadcast. Oh, first of all, this is more for the live chat. How much do you guys love my future wife? Woo!
I hope.
God damn! Holy smokes! Here we go. Let's jump in. Map numero uno. So Q9 in blue, GALORYS in yellow. That's not confusing at all, considering that Q9 is a yellow colored team and GALORYS is a blue one, but that's fine. The observer team needs to figure out these overheads, because like, wow, I can't read that mini-map at all.
They might well have a good go of things.
GALORYS, GALORYS? I've kind of always said GALORYS. Could be the British coming out of these two, though. Okay, so GALORYS, good setup early. They're losing a lot of time, but this is a really solid front line, right? When we look down to how the minimap is playing out at the moment, I mean, we've got a really solid setup here. I mean, you're watching everything. I mean, look at this front line. It is aggressive, eh? So it's a really good front line is what we've got set up here from the side of GALORYS. The only issue when I see setups like this is if you drop one player and then there's a push through, you're immediately spawning out. That's the only issue here. Because of how spread this setup is, it's not really like a good anchor like on one side or the other, where like often we see teams kind of hold the line this way, or sometimes if they're spawning bottom right, they'll kind of hold it this way. We're doing a little bit of both at the moment, where we've got this long line of scrimmage, and that can get really, really troublesome if you don't win your initial gunfight. So, see how this goes. Exchange is fine. Pabzera drops. Spawn should already move. Yeah, and that's the issue right there. I mean, all it took was a single exchange going the way of Q9. And now all of a sudden, you're not just spawning like out down low because you're being pressured down here by Q9. You're spawning all the way out. And there's no way this player gets to be a part of the play. So this is already a huge problem for GALORYS. Good recovery though. Okay. So we have like a little moment here where after this gunfight comes through, we'll fast forward right here. You get a backup. Number 4 is Foki. This is good. He backs up into the play and then finds this kill and resets the spawns. And that might be a little bit of a miscue, because as much as we saw GALORYS setting up an aggressive line here in front of the hard point, Q9 was also hitting through like 3 angles at once as well. So they're also not giving a concentrated hit, which gives us the ability to kind of reflip spawns just by finding a single trade. So really good for Foki. Things starting to stabilize a touch just as the hard point opens. And now Q9 will get that bottom window spawn. Oh, maybe not. Thought for sure they would spawn down there. Yeah, really good for GALORYS. It's just one of those situations that, like, the status of spawns has been in jeopardy since the beginning of this hard point. And that leads to issues like this. That's the one thing that I kind of have noticed about, like, good takeoff teams versus bad takeoff teams. Or at least mediocre ones. Is we're so focused on playing like a dominant setup that there's no concentration on either of these two sides. This is, of course, looking from the GALORYS perspective. They fight back to get these spawns, but we kind of, it happens like in the middle of this this moment right here, where you've got this concentration, but as soon as that concentration hit comes through, we're not waiting for the support to come up, and we're just immediately trying to push down over towards the other side. So it kind of essentially does the same thing, where we start to stretch this again. And with Q9 spawning in these two locations kind of split, they now have more concentration here, giving them the ability to kind of isolate on this back spawn, and that is going to lead to a huge opening on this second hard point. The 1v1s over the top of the hill or whatever, but you can see it like right here in particular. Like, you've got full mid-map control, which gives you the jump up on scaffold, and you've got window control. So the only thing that could really foil this play is anyone who possibly tries to sneak around the bottom. That's the only real thing that can happen, because now all of a sudden Q9 feel comfortable here, and so the next angle of attack is to try to make this play happen, where you're trying to push them out of spawn. And it works out really, really nicely with the SMGs. And you can kind of see it for a moment here, like, GALORYS is trapped. Like, this is actually a pretty good view. Let me get rid of my camera real quick. A pretty good view on it. Like, you've got these two players are completely bottled up, like, without doubt. Spawns are over here now for GALORYS, but with Uling and Xinan and this, whoever this is over here, making a play through, this completely entraps these GALORYS players, and they're going to be in, like, this split situation. You can kind of see it here. It's this little wrap bubble. Not what you want if you're GALORYS for sure. So spawns will move, spawns will flip. Foki, how are you not reading this? I mean, what are we looking at here? If you're Foki, you get up with a shotgun. You've got teammates that are spawning right in front of you. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at? So he's not going to get into a spot to actually deal with the spawns. It's bad awareness moment for GALORYS. I apologize that I keep swapping between the pronunciation of the team name. Huge hardpoint for Q9. This scrap time should go the way largely of Q9. Maybe a couple of opportunities here for GALORYS, but numbers are just still so good for Q9. Yeah, small moment that they get in for 5 seconds or so, but ultimately that is a very good hardpoint for Q9 breaking. Okay, good hold for GALORYS. I don't love, I was going to say, I don't love number 5 and Lucasn being that far forward. And this is one of the things, we talked about this in previous games during World Championships, where if you're the team that's trying to break this hardpoint and you're not finding a tremendous amount of success around the back, and you get either, well, I'd say this spawn first, maybe this spawn at worst, there's no reason in my mind that you don't utilize the proximal spawn to try to hit something from the front and split the defensive focus towards not just looking one way or the other. And it looks like Q9 is about to do that. It's so hard to see what's going on in this moment with that mini-map. And yeah, they just get in from the front, and you can kind of tell GALORYS just don't have anything to look at. They don't know what to look at all. Yeah, this is too easy. Equalizer now popped. Annihilator popped. Purifier popped. Good usage of operators to try to lock this down. Yeah, really bad start for GALORYS. Claws now to reinforce. Yeah, really good. Really good enforcement of the hardpoint. We've talked about this a couple of times before. Okay, so getting a tally of what's being used where and when. You've got Purifier, Equalizer, and Annihilator all being spent at the same time. And that is 1, 2, and 4. So you've got the Purifier just holding a corner inside. Let me get the right colors for you. Purifier holding a corner on the inside. Annihilator looks to be up top, possibly also zoning. And then you've got your Equalizer on the other doors. So everything is being watched with an operator. And then at a certain point, we'll see the Claw also being spent as soon as things start to expire. Yeah, Mauchi is definitely up top. He's gotten 2 off spawn. Lucasn decent to get a double, but that's enough for number 3, and they can pop the Claw. As soon as the Equalizer drops in Sun, you've got an immediate pop of the Claw in the exact same position out here at the top. So really, really well done in terms of kind of staggering operators and finding maximum efficacy out of it. Really, really good stuff for Q9. And these are things that are going to happen. You know, when you put together 2.5 good hard points and you earn your operators first, we expect to see snowballs that look like this. So last 15 seconds, GALORYS actually pop a Claw here. I don't love that, but Mihawk still finds good use. Okay, he gets 3, and he gets 4 seconds. Might not be worth it. Lucasn on rotation with the Annihilator. Okay.
This is a big investment for GALORYS.
This is a big investment because it's not even just the Annihilator. I mean, Brody calls this correctly. Okay, perfect. You've got the War Machine out inside the hardpoint. And there's not a ton of information here for GALORYS in terms of where is this next hit coming from. Let's go backwards just a touch here. This is when the rotation starts to happen. We're going to get an Annihilator first. That's going to be from number 5. Shoot, we don't have a mini-map. Okay, here we go. So you've got number 5 on Lucasn, Annihilator out. He's just watching all of this. You're immediately then going to get the War Machine that should be just responsible for this door. I don't love the timing of the call, just because you've got a pretty decent zone already set up with a couple of players that are already pushed deep. And the hardpoint's not open yet. That's another part of it, is we still have a couple of seconds before we really immediately see a threat. So timing is a bit odd, but the Annihilator finding a double is pretty pivotal. And then, okay, so this is where he starts to pop it. This is a little bit more better time, so maybe I was wrong in my evaluation there. We've got the War Machine at the front door, just responsible for this. So kind of the same thing that we saw from Q9. You've got operators watching each doorway. Annihilator on the long range through the backside through 3. And then the War Machine up close and personal to try to make a bother of the spawns. Good. And the focus for Q9 here is actually pretty strong. You know, they're not flooding in any particular direction. You can see a couple of players off spawn are actually making a route through mid to try to maybe even catch the Annihilator a bit more off guard. But look at the setup here for GALORYS. This is really, really well received, because you've got a player deep in this back spawn anchoring, all of this play through mid is going to be cut down from these players that are still holding on to high ground or deep red position. So this should be a pretty solid hold off this initial setup for GALORYS.
Holding it down where they can. Pabs are Foki doing very, very well.
Equalizer's also now spent for Foki. Again, I don't think we need this here. It's not an immediate threat. And we're also kind of looking at the wrong doorway, but okay, really well picked up. Purifier was also called in for that. So it's, again, expensive, but it's a really good exchange. Kind of evaluating P3 to P4 for both teams. Yeah, well done.
Left in the tank, and oh my goodness me, Foki's making sure it's used correctly.
Okay, so essentially 45 plus for 45 plus. We take that, even exchange, back to about the same difference that we had at the end of P2. 30 point difference. So pretty even exchange. Really well done for both teams on both those two hard points in terms of how you set up your holds. Although, to be fair, Q9 broke 3, so that's the difference right now. Good status control here. Again, one of the things over the top of P1, we talked about this pretty often, is like you want to be able to control 2 of the 3 high ground locations as you're setting yourself up. Those are the 3 that we're kind of looking at here. And at the moment, tallying it, you've got really good control from GALORYS. Again, I keep pronouncing it different ways. Apologies. But it is one of those things that, again, you've got a nice little push out this direction, nice little push out this direction. Player inside the hard point is very comfortable right now. So good setup to at least earn some significant time here for GALORYS. Really, really well done on this hard point for GALORYS. That is a ton of time. And it's the same status. High ground towards the top, high ground towards the bottom. It sets up another little line of scrimmage here that kind of feels familiar. Like they're trying to pull the same thing that they had previously, where they're trying to get this line of scrimmage set up. This time, though, Q9 kind of read and react to the setup and not just contest, but they try to overwhelm through med side to try to get around the back to window. So this is a good break attempt for Q9 to get themselves back into a working condition around P2. Pinch is good. Follow-up is good. Pred missile is good. Love the call. Well done.
He's about touch 30 already.
Q9's going to pop their second set of ops here, and it gets nothing. That's huge. They pop Gravity and Claw.
As well, but a few kills now starting to come through from Q9. Foke maybe some nice timing around the flank, but Lucasen's
there's the Gravity
responsible for these kills. They want to make sure they get
that's being spent over the top. Really not a good spot for it at all. And then also the Claw. Neither finding any value. Really big moment here for GALORYS. Yeah, and they reset up for spawns. Perfect. Claw to follow up from EHOC. Just to make sure no one gets forward. Love it. Pabs is in trouble.
Going to try to find a breakthrough, but the kills start to go their way. Traded across the board.
Observers are lost. Okay.
And is this going to be able to lock it down? Foki will get themselves in a position. The crowd going crazy. GALORYS taking the lead for the first
good response here from GALORYS. I keep messing with them. So kind of breaking down this hit. Q9 off the break through P1. We're at 45 seconds left on the hard points. This is still very early on. They contest through P1, make the long route through the back. That forces a bit of a decision to happen here because GALORYS is still spawning in the back. It takes a couple of great gunfights, not just on the hardpoint itself, but they also kind of work through this bottom stadium side. Next set of respawns, which is where we're at right now. Q9 start to make their play after their investment of operators doesn't work out through the front. And that's super, super good. Being able to kind of reflip spawns. But again, we talk about this very regularly when it comes to Takeoff. If you can keep forward control through stadium, you're going to be able to work around wherever your opponent is spawning so easily. So kind of reacting to it, we saw this initial play for Q9. GALORYS is right here. They push through. They deal with it. Next hit for Q9 is going to be around the back. You push right back through stadium. You deal with it. It's really, really well done. And there is a couple of good operator usages just to make sure they can enforce those front doors, those choke points. Like right here especially. We're going to see the Purifier pop. Mihawk's already got the Claw. Pabs is going to pull out the War Machine. So really good stuff in terms of getting a read and reaction to what Q9 is trying to do to break. And then finding the kills. Like there's the Purifier for Hen. War Machine's going to follow up here for Pabs in a moment. EHOC right behind it. There's the War Machine. Very, very well done. Spawn out moment, but you've already got Hen right back into the mix to try to keep this at least somewhat contested. So the first 30 seconds goes out really nicely for GALORYS. And this could get nasty for Lucasen. Yeesh!
He's ready for it. Lucasen with 3. And that's
whoa!
Q9 back once again, but Uling, the star player on the other side.
That's heroic from Uling.
Gets Q9 out of that potential.
And a good double chow comes through. So just as much as you thought GALORYS was going to be right back in, That's just a massive individual play from Uling. Triple followed by a triple. That's grand finals, baby. So the problem here is the status of the operators has changed quite convincingly. As we were dealing with that break attempt, we got the gravity vortex and the annihilator. No, the claw. Equalizer? Claw. Something else was out from those two. But you still got 3 ready to go. On the other side, you had that moment, remember, where GALORYS is sitting here saying, we have the ability, oops, pardon me. We have the ability to win this out. They used Claw, they used Purifier, they used War Machine, and they didn't use Annihilator, but they used a lot. So now all they've got is the Equalizer, which is out to try to work this rotation, and the Annihilator, which isn't going to find a lot of value here. So this is a tough moment here for GALORYS again. On this rotation, already being pressured from the front. They've got the lockdown of the favored spawns, but like this hit from Foki, not great. And Mauchi just pops an Annihilator on the break and shuts it down plus extra. Yeah, really bad P3s from GALORYS. I also have to just say, like, if you're what? Whoopsies. Unreal. Are you kidding? I was about to sit here and praise Mauchi because if you watch this break, with the Annihilator, he doesn't do it by himself. Look at this setup right here. You've got Sun with an SMG, Mauchi already popping the Annihilator, and Sun is just bait. He is like the fullback punching a hole for the running back to dive on in and actually collect the yardage. Really, really good setup, and you'll see that continue through this play. So Annihilator hits the shutdown through the wall. And then look at Sun pushing forward. Sets up angles of approach where Mauchi doesn't have to worry about his left. He can use that now as cover. Really well done. But then Luke is in. I mean, he pops this thing off spawn from Medbay. Look at this spawn. This is ridiculous. He comes out of spawn and says, it's time for me to break. That is unreal. And so then he starts to go to work from the front. That's 2. And they don't even get a read here. Like, Lucasson just walks in from the back. No one's looking at this at all. Yeah, really well done. Plus the shutdown on the Purifier. Whoo, what's value? Unbelievable. Another missed moment for the P3. Let's evaluate. And now we go into 4. And the problem is, because of the split spawn situation, let me move back a little bit. Split spawn situation off this play, on the end, you have split focus from GALORYS, where are they going to play for new? Are they going to play through old? And in the meantime, because of the current status of eliminations, you've already got kind of a setup already built for the rotation for Q9. So an important moment here, even though the game is technically a 10-second game, you can see it right here in particular. Like, you've got one player on rotation just trying to play their life. Everyone else is spawn trapped behind P3. Really difficult moment for Pabzera. He's going to get chased down, probably dealt with pretty quickly. Oh, good finesse, honestly. Eventually dealt with, but it just still one of those things that you open up the hard point now after your Q9 with a pretty decent setup. Uling Claw. Yeah, well done. Watches one direction, trust your teammates to pick up the other. Perfect. I feel like a lot of people would panic in this moment with the Claw, just kind of tallying what's going on. Let me fast forward right. Wait for it. As soon as this comes off the minimap, he's already popped it. Right here, I feel like most people would panic with the Claw because the hit is coming from both directions right now. There was a moment in there where Q9 were kind of spawning in Stadium. You saw one player die going this direction, the other tried to pick it up. That eventually moved the spawns, but the threat is immediately at the front doors for both of these two. But I don't know what the call looks like, but Uling makes a great read saying, if my teammates are spawning up, they can get that. I'll worry about this. That's the perfect way to set yourself up for a good, like, bunker down moment in this hard point. And he takes down 2 from the front. Doesn't even look back to the back door. Trusting his teammates through and through. Hit markers are good. Follow-up is perfect. Absolutely beautiful Claw. Spawns are starting to reset a touch. Ends in some trouble. Oki, R9. What? Dude, R9, stupid. Good break from the front for GALORYS. It's a banger. Banger map so far. Really the only major downswing has been that P3, where GALORYS has not done well at holding P3. These breaks through 4 have been, this break in particular has been pretty successful for them. But you can kind of tell, and let me just go back and I'm just going to pull the minimap up. Watch how much chaos happens. Like, just keep your eye on the yellow dots as they spawn up, comparatively to where Q9 starts to spawn. It never really truly feels like after this moment right here, where this is right when the break attempt from the front finds success. Watch how fast the spawns start to get messy here, though. Just play it through. Watch the spawns.
GALORYS, this is a big 20.
Q9 still spawning in the back. And it's just, I mean, it's so staggered. You had number 5 spawn all the way back here. Number 4 gets a bit of a squad spawn in the front, but like, it's just so staggered in terms of how they're hitting and when. And then as soon as this hit starts to fall, watch the spawns again. Deep. And then this moment is what the one that I really picked up on, is as soon as Q9 start to get these spawns and then push through, we're dealing with 11 seconds worth of time remaining, by the way. So there's no reason that you have to stay back here if you're Q9. And this moment is a chaotic one for GALORYS because they're spawning all over the map. And it looks like everyone is trying to take their focus into the hardpoint. But as I'm drawing it, you can kind of see it. It's all individual efforts. And watch how quickly Q9 pick up on this.
Looking for this scrap time, and they are fighting.
It's all just 1v1s.
Able to momentarily fight back here for this time, Ton. This is so,
and the reads are just so clean. So clean. And we're back to 30 seconds plus. Good moment again. GALORYS has played P1 really nicely. Flat out. They've done really, really well over P1.
Really starting to rise up. Henry Cat able to transpawn for a couple up top towards P2.
They get the side that they want. They've done really well at putting themselves in a position to, again, just kind of play through 2 sides of the high grounds at once with a little bit of this, like this line of scrimmage that kind of looks like this. It keeps the player on the hard point safe for a long time. And just out of spawn, Q9 are really not taking any long routes here. At best, they're kind of coming through, but most of it is invested towards this bottom side of the map. They're really not playing towards the top at all. And that's leading to a lot of time here for GALORYS. I'm gonna start saying both ways at this point. Uh-oh. Not what you want. I talk about it, and wouldn't you know it, it's kind of at this moment right here. As soon as they find Mihawk, look at the minimap. Watch the motion here. Player starts to come around the back. Now they're pushing through, and now you've got that investment towards the top side. This is after 2 straight hard points at P2, where the only focus for Q9 has been through the bottom or from middle. If you go back to like the first rotation, they were kind of testing all 3 sides kind of at once. The second hit was largely all through the bottom. Eventually, spawns forced them to go this way, but now we're dealing with 10 seconds of old time, and now we're pushing straight into the spawn. And I mean, that's 4 players large, this hit. There's just no way Mihawk stays alive here. Yeah, really good from Ouchie. Oh, and I love this. They're not even bothering with, like, what spawn do we want? They're kind of playing what we like to call them the traditional COD. They're playing Creddy Corners. You got a player sitting on the other side of the door, say, come on through if you want to. I'll just find the kills, then push out. And wouldn't you know it, wow, this is actually massive Gigabrain. Is Shinon with a purifier on the door? That's deadly. Look at this. Look at a little crossfire setup.
Q9 have managed to break 200, and they're not finding the kills here.
Q9 doesn't really get a read, though. Wow, okay. A bit puzzling. They don't get the read on where exactly the hit's coming from, but the follow from the equalizer is good. Now the claw from the front, and they're just spawn trapping. They're just flat out spawn trapping. Good war machine to pop back in. Really good war machine from Popzera. What? That is so bold. I mean, that is like a perfect setup from the side of Q9. You've got Purifier watching the front door. This moment is a scattery one for Shinon. Doesn't really get a read, gets picked. But then all of a sudden, Equalizer up top gets shut down by Sun's Equalizer. Now you got a claw at the front door, and this feels perfect. The only thing really available here for the side of GALORYS is this war machine. And Popzera just makes a Giga Chad play. There's the Annihilator down, there's the claw down. Yeesh! That's unreal. Pred Missile's not going to find much here, just one. Really well done from Popzera. That flat out keeps GALORYS in the game. I don't love the claw here. Here's my thing on, again, the claw usage has been a little scattery for Mihawk. You're dealing with 15 seconds of final time. There's no way you lose the game here with 15 seconds. It really doesn't even get out of hand. So I don't love the call of that claw to come out right there. I would have rather have seen him wait, play the SMG up close, and then come off spawn and use it to reinforce P3. Yeah, spawn out for GALORYS. Q9 working from the front. Not even bothering. I mean, this is a perfect look at it. They're not even bothering with this hitter on the back. They know we got this kill over the top. Let's just hit him from the front. There are operators available, but I love this call from Q9. Just break it from the front. They found success here every single time.
Maoshi and Yang 1 around
Fred bails him out of 1 kill.
spawning in and around them. That's not gonna
Gravity
go well.
Vortex
Their
out.
is now trying to
Doesn't really
survive.
find too
Gravity Vortex
much.
gun from Yang 1, who's gonna put
Last
it
chance
into
here for
the
Galorys.
They're-
Same Annihilator play for Lucas in from the back. Purifier from the front. Uh-oh. Only 2 kills. Not what you want.
Trying to hold on with Uling, picking up a couple.
Wow,
Looks
Uling.
like that might be in control for them now, just 15 seconds away from
Okay, proximal spawns gets them back in. Yang transfers too soon.
Uling's the only one who can answer. Can't quite find much else, but the kills being traded across the board. Which way?
Okay, no more operators. This is just raw gameplay now. Really good from Hen. Clears out the top staircase.
Found their way back in. 15 points remaining. That's scrap time. It's looking like they're going to get
Wow,
hold of it. It's
really well done, honestly.
There's going to be a huge gunfight.
Considering they didn't find much value out of the operators, heroic. And some of that gets back. We'll just kind of look at it briefly because this is already turning into a long one. It's because of these spawns never fully getting cleared. You can kind of see it here. Still spawning up, getting around the back. Q9 just isn't able to get into a position to push further out. So,
Who's gonna put it in towards the hard point Q9.
Annihilator by itself from the front. Purifier for Hen. Hen actually kind of saves this map, not gonna lie. Clears out staircase and gives his team a chance to dive back in. Yeah, and then there's the proximal spawn. Watch number 4 here. Watch number 4. He dies and immediately spawns right back up, I think. Yeah, right here. Watch number 4. There's number 3. There's number 4. It's like he spawns right back to where he just died. Spawned here, got in with a shotty, dies, spawns right back up, right back in with a shotty. Just proximal spawns coming out massively. It just completely reduces Uling's play just because they get back so fast. I would love to see the respawn timer go like an extra 3 seconds in COD Mobile.
Kills being traded across the board. Which way are they going to go? It seems as if GALORYS just about getting control. Q9 still 16 points away.
You're not going to play for rotation. They're going to be late.
This is massive. They survived the onslaught over towards Old. Big scrap time for them.
Oh, well done.
Okay, finds a couple of kills for rotation. Now Q9 spawning.
Just hold this. Just hold this. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just hold this. Ah, gets caught. How? How does that happen? Oh, watch this split spawn. So you've got 1 set of spawns for Galorys up top, but look where we're at on the clock on the hard point. We're still 4 seconds of old time. So these spawns are still not fully cemented. Like, we don't have P4 spawns, and you're going to see Galorys spawn at the bottom because this hard point's still open. That's so painful.
Big scrap time for them, though. Now looking for it. Okay, finds a couple of kills for rotation.
That's so painful. Number 1 not being here in Mihawk is so painful because the numbers are good. Yang gets 1 on, this is an isolated 1v1 back here that he picks up, and now he's on a natural pinch, and it's a 3-man hit from the front. This is a perfect pinch setup, and Mihawk just can't get to the play. He just can't. He's now just getting here.
Q9 able to break their way in towards the hardpoint players now from Galorys.
Oh, that's so painful. It was so close. Oh, wow, what a finish.
And the last player to do anything. Can anybody touch in time? No.
That's unfortunate. It all is because P3 is still open. That's tough. I think if P4 or that lock time comes through, if he spawns a second later, he probably spawns a lot closer. Dang, that's tough. But I will say, given the recap on it, Galorys just did not play P3 well enough in the first 2 rotations. Flat out, did not play it well enough. Okay, that's map number 1. We will have map 2, map 3, and map 4 on the channel. So make sure you subscribe now if you have not done so. Catch you back for the next breakdown. Till that point, bye-bye.